Hi, I'm Cara Fraser. Welcome to day 27 of my 30-day yoga connection series. Today is a nice, gentle stretching class. The previous couple days have been challenging with scorpion and some arm balances, so I thought it would be nice to incorporate something gentle today. Just give your body a rest, but to allow you to still practice, to be on your mat and to focus. And at the end, if you have a chair, it would be nice to have that, but if you don't, you can just end up flat on the mat instead of using the chair. So you may want to grab a chair and a blanket or a towel if you have that, and a block. Again, if you don't have any of these props, you can just modify however you need. Today's class will just be some gentle stretching. So if you want to do a little warm up first, you could do some sun salutations, or maybe you've worked out before this and your body's warm. But it'd be nice to be a little warm before you do this because it's just some stretching and some holds. So we'll just start just to get a little grounded. Couple options here. You can just sit up on the heels with the thighs together. If that's intense for your feet or your knees, you could take your block and just sit up on the block. And then just make sure your feet are even here as far as distance from the body. Try and bring the knees and the thighs together, and then sit up nice and tall here. Just taking a couple moments here just to relax. Notice if there are places where you have tension. It could be your shoulders, your neck, your face, your jaw. Take a moment, see if you can relax the spaces where you have that tension. As you start to relax those spaces, focus on your breath. Starting to slow it down and soften the breath. You may notice that as you focus on the breath and softening it, it also helps to relax those spaces in the body where you feel tight or tense. And in today's class, since we will be doing some stretching, we'll do some dynamic movement, which means just moving between poses or sides, and then we'll hold. So during the holds, you can continue to use the breath. We get length with the inhales, and we're able to soften with the exhales. Take one more inhale. Exhale, let all the air out. And then open the eyes. You can bring the hands down. If you have the block, you can take it off to the side. And wherever you are, just come to sitting on the mat with the legs out straight. So starting here, we'll just take the right foot in towards the left thigh with the knee out. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, come forward. But you may not go very far. Nice and gentle hinging from the hips. You may be able to grab your foot. If you have a strap, you could take a strap around the ball of the foot. Sit up nice and tall. Keep the torso long, hinging forward from the hips. And just relaxing into this, working on that inhaling, getting a little length, and exhaling, softening, but never jamming, never trying to crank yourself into any position. It's more just letting yourself relax into it. And you may find as you hold longer and you use that breath that you're able to find a little deeper stretch. But it takes some time, it takes some practice to kind of make that happen too. Inhale, come up long spine, and then draw the knee in, bring the sole of the foot to the mat. And if you find that you're rounding back, getting this little tilt in the pelvis, take that right foot forward so you can sit up nice and tall on the sit bones. Inhale, bring the left arm up by the ear. Exhale, twist to the right. So you can take cactus arms here, right fingertips can be behind you. It may feel good also to take the right hand to the small of the back. So find where you feel supported. If you don't like this arm, you could take a hug. And always letting your head be the last thing to go. So trying to get this twist from the torso here, and then maybe the head turns a little bit. Inhale, come back to center, arms by the ears. Exhale, twist to the left. You can also use the breath in the twist. So inhaling, finding length in the torso. Exhaling, maybe gently twisting a little more. Inhale, come back to center, lift the arms. Exhale, bring them down by the sides, and then cross the right foot over the left leg. And then bend that left leg. And from there, try and stack the knees on top of one another. So this may not happen for everybody. That's okay if it doesn't. You can stay with the knee up. You can stay with the one leg straight. You just go where it feels good for you. If you have the knees stacked, try and keep the feet in the same plane. You may feel enough of a stretch right here in the outer hip. If you want, you can inhale, bring the arms up, and exhale, bring the palms down, walking them forward any amount. So this is one that does take a little bit of time to sort of soften into. A lot of us are really tight in the outside of the hips here. So just take your time. If you find you have some tension, see if on the exhale you can relax that space. And as you sit here a little longer, you may find you're able to soften a little more. And then slowly walk the hands back, lift the chest. Bring the legs back out straight. So coming into the other side. So bend the left leg, bring the sole of the foot to the inside of the thigh. Inhale, bring the arms up, and exhale, come forward. Hands could come to the mat or the foot, or maybe you're using the strap again on this side. And notice where your mind goes, especially if you're not very flexible. We find that stretching like this can be frustrating for people when they feel like they're really tight and they're not getting their body into the shape that they envision. It's not about what you look like, it's about where you feel it. And over time, you might start to notice changes in where your body goes. So be nice to yourself. Inhale, long spine, come up. Bring that knee in, sole of the foot to the mat. And again, if you need to take it forward so you sit up nice and tall, take the foot forward. Inhale, bring the right arm up. Exhale, twist to the left. You can take the cactus arms or the hug. As you start to twist, notice if you start to get this rounding. If you do, sit up on the center of the sit bones, spread through the collarbones. And again, neck is the last thing to go. Checking out your right foot, making sure you have your right leg active. So I like to flex. Inhale, come up to center, lift the arms. Exhale, twist to the right. I like these twists because our bodies are meant to move in this way, but we don't twist a lot in our everyday lives, right? So it's nice to move our bodies in this way. Maintaining your focus on the breath. And then inhale, come up to center, lift the arms. Exhale, bring them down. And then cross the left foot over the right leg. You decide where you want to stop. Maybe it's here, maybe it's bending the right leg, and maybe it's stacking the knees. And then checking in with your feet here, keeping the feet active. And then inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, palms come down. And walk them forward any amount, nice and slowly. We'll hold here, just letting your body get used to this position. Allowing everything to start to relax here. And using your thoughts and your mind to help you in any yoga pose. So if it starts to go to a place of, I'm miserable, maybe you change the story you're telling yourself. Now, if you're in pain, you always want to come out. If you're uncomfortable because you're getting a stretch maybe you're not used to, that's a different story. So learning to differentiate between pain and discomfort is also part of this process. And you may find one side is different than the other. Probably is. And then slowly walk the hands back, lift the chest, uncross the legs, bring the legs out in front of you straight. So sitting in Dandasana or staff pose here. So active feet again. If you're hyper flexible like me, notice what happens when I go straight. My heels come up, which means I'm actually hyperextending. My leg goes past straight. There are a lot of people like that. They have really mobile joints. If that's the case, take the heels back down to the mat, engage your quadriceps, the top of your thigh here, and see if you can keep the heels down, trying to protect the knee joint by not going past straight here. That may be hard for some of you. So hands come down. We're just gonna sit here, nice and tall on the sit bones, long torso, spreading through the collarbones. It may look like we're not doing much of anything, but we're actually working a lot of our core muscles here to keep upright. And this may be hard because a lot of us slouch every day, right? So sitting up, that's a little challenging. Then inhale, bring the arms up by the ears, hold here. Don't let those shoulders come up. So space between the ears and the shoulders. Slow breath. One more inhale, reach through the fingers. Exhale, keep that length hinge from the hips. Try and rotate the pelvis forward as if the pelvis is a bowl of water and you're pouring that water out. Can help you to minimize the space between your torso and your thighs. But again, it's not what you look like, it's just where you can go. So hands can come to balls of feet, you can take the strap, hands can come by the sides, you could grab wrists around the feet. Inhale, find length in the torso. Exhale, soften down. Let the head relax. Inhale, find length. Exhale, soften. And continue that with your own breath here. Trying to learn how to use the breath on your own when you're not being instructed how to do it can just help you in moments of silence in a class. And then inhale with that long spine, come back up. And then bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat. And lift the right foot, cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So it's like thread the needle that we do on the back, but sitting up nice and tall. If you find you're really leaning into your hands behind you and rounding, a couple things you can do here. So sit up nice and tall. You can take that left foot forward. It makes it less intense. Right foot in, more intense. Left foot in, more intense. Left foot out, less intense. If it's too much, you just come down to your back, okay? So you decide again what feels good. Holding here, sitting up nice and tall. Keeping that right foot flexed. And as you sit here, letting the rotation come from the leg and the hip socket, not just the knee pressing out. So you're really trying to move the leg here. Take one more deep inhale here. Exhale, let it out. And then uncross that ankle. Just take an inhale here with both feet on the mat. Exhale, let it out. And then cross that left ankle over the right thigh. Sometimes it's nice to take a little break between sides just to get back to your breath if you've lost it. Keeping this left foot flexed, trying to get the rotation of the leg and the hip socket, not just the knee, sitting up nice and tall, and adjusting the intensity with that right foot towards the front of the mat, less intense, towards your body, more intense, or you could come back to your back. It's one of the nice things about a home practice, doing a video, is you don't feel as, intimidated by other people in class or feeling like you have to get your body to look like your neighbor, because we're all different. We all have our different strengths and challenges. I have flexible hips, which may look nice when I'm doing something like this, but it causes me problems when I'm doing other things. So knowing that we all have the challenges that we face individually, and sort of learning to accept them and work on them. And then uncross that ankle, bring the foot down to the mat, sit up nice and tall. Take an inhale. And exhale, let it out. So from here, making your way to your back, you can just bring the hands behind the thighs. Make sure you have room to roll back and that your block is handy. And once you're ready, just slowly lower yourself down. So knees are bent, feet hips distance apart, ankles under knees. And then grab that block. Press into the feet, lift the hips up. Take the block just on the lowest setting under the body. So under the sacrum, which is those two bony points down there that you'll find. And then just make sure you get really situated on that block. I'm just taking a couple of breaths here just to get settled in. If for some reason it doesn't feel good for you to be lifted on the block, you can just stay flat on the mat. But you do get a little elevation here, a little back bend, very minor. And it sometimes feels good to be elevated like this. So from here, make sure you feel really rooted into that block. And you can just gently lift the feet up to make sure you do. If you don't, put the feet down, readjust, and then take the legs up straight. And then keep the heels together. Take the toes away from each other. It's like a dancer first position if you are familiar with that. And on the inhale, just draw the feet away from each other so they're about hips distance apart. And exhale, bring the heels back together. Inhale apart. Exhale together. Inhale apart. Exhale together, bring the feet back together. So toes will stay together, heels come apart. And inhale, bring the feet hips distance apart. Exhale, bring them together. Inhale apart. Exhale together. Inhale apart. Exhale together, bring the feet back together. One more inhale. And exhale it out. And then bend the knees. Bring the soles of the feet back to the mat, hips distance apart. And once you feel grounded in the feet here, straighten the left leg so the back of the left heel connects to the mat. So that heel is just resting on the mat. You can stay right here, or maybe you draw the right thigh into the chest. You can grab behind your right shin or your right thigh, making sure both feet are active here. I like to flex them, but if you like to point, you can do that. Notice maybe you're getting a stretch in the front of the right hip, maybe the back of the right leg and hip. And then with that right foot, just point and flex. And then take some circles with that right foot. And take them the other way. And then re-engage, point or flex, whatever you prefer. Bring the right sole of the foot back so that leg is still bent, the foot's on the mat, and then re-bend the left leg. So both legs are bent, both feet on the mat. And then straighten the right leg, connect the back of the right heel to the mat. And if you like, hug the right thigh in. Again, noticing where you feel that stretch. I like something like this because it's nice and subtle and gentle. And then point and flex that left foot. Take some circles one way. Take some circles the other way. And then re-engage it, point or flex, whatever you like. Bring the left foot back to the mat, re-bend the right leg so both legs are bent, both feet are flat. We'll hold here for a couple more breaths. If you like to take the block to a higher setting, just press into the feet. You can bring it to the medium or high setting if you like, but do what feels good. Don't take it to a point that's so extreme that you're uncomfortable. This is supposed to feel good. You're supposed to be able to relax into it. And if you find you get yourself into a position you can't relax, maybe you've gone too far and you need to back out just a little bit. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale, let it out. Make sure your feet feel really grounded. Press into the feet. Take the block off to the side. Lower the hips down. And just lay here for a couple of breaths with the hips down. Notice how it feels after being elevated on that block. And then from here, if you're using a chair, just roll off to whatever side feels good. Press yourself up to seated and grab your chair. I'm actually going to use a blanket here too. So probably good to get the chair on the mat so it's stable and it's not going to slide. Actually, I'm going to use my blanket right now. I'm just having a conversation here. So I'm just going to take a little roll in my blanket so it's like a pillow for resting under the neck. And then come up, bring your calves to the chair and take this pillow under your neck, or blanket under your neck, I should say. And then find this place where you feel comfortable here. And then once you feel like you've kind of got everything figured out, bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the chair. You may have to scooch back just a little bit. Arms rest down next to you, palms facing down. Inhale, press into the feet, lift the hips up. It's like a bridge here. I'm gonna scooch out just a little more. And then exhale, come down. Inhale, press up. Exhale, press down. Inhale up. I think this feels really good on the chair. And exhale down. And then just take the knees from side to side a little bit. Little windshield wiper action here. Little twist, feels good. And then keep the left foot on the chair, extend the right leg up, and just point and flex the foot. And take some circles with the ankle. Oh, mine just cracked. And then rebend that leg. Take the left leg up, point and flex. And circle. And circle. And then rebend that leg. Scooch back so your calves are flat on the seat of the chair. So you'll probably have to move your little blanket pillow with you if you have one. And from here, come in close enough so you can grab the front legs of the chair with your hands. You know what, I'm gonna get rid of this blanket. So just bring your head flat on the mat for a second. Taking some little stretches with the neck. So take the chin towards the right shoulder. Excuse me. And notice how you get a stretch in the left side of the neck. And holding onto the chair helps just make it a little more of a stretch. If that doesn't feel good with the hands on the legs, just let go. And then take the chin through center over to the other side. And then bring the chin back to center. And then just sitting here with the shins up for a little while. So I'm going to bring this blanket back under my neck to serve as a pillow. This will actually be the final resting pose if you want it to be. So if you don't, you can hang out here for as long as we do on the video, and then you could take a shavasana flat on the back. But I find this is sort of a nice way to end practice. Having the feet elevated feels nice to take some pressure off the hips, the pelvis, the low back, having the weight of the legs resting on the chair like this. So just take some time here, not worrying about deep breath, smooth breath, whatever the breath usually has to be during practice. Just let it go and be natural. Taking some time to know that it's okay to be still, to be silent, to be alone with yourself. Ooh, I know that sounds a little scary. Sometimes in the silence, things just start to make more sense. So allow yourself to relax here. Start to deepen your breath. And wiggle the fingers and the toes. Circle the ankles and wrists. And reach the arms up by the ears. Stretch through your fingertips. Maybe straighten the legs, stretch through the toes. And then slowly take the legs off the chair, hugging the thighs into the chest. And make your way off to your side. Press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes closed, hands at the heart. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.